Let's talk about herbs. So, herbs are so amazing. You know, herbs have been used for years and years in different healing modalities. I mean, literally, like back 10,000 years ago, they have found elderberry in the stomachs of preserved humans from so long ago. you know Herbs kind of get like a bad light here in the United States, but in many other parts of the world they are used primarily for primary medicine, where pharmaceuticals would be secondary or alternative. So, in the United States, though, they tend to poo poo herbs and maybe steer us away from herbs. And there's a good reason for that. If we can heal our bodies with natural herbal remedies, there's no need for big pharma, right? So, I just want to kind of go through kind of some of the benefits of herbal remedies. And then I want to talk about this beautiful antiviral blend that I'm featuring today. So I make herbal blends, Ayurvedic based herbal blends that are used for different types of things. So I have one that's great for anxiety. I have great one that's great for the liver. I have one that's a great antioxidant blend. There's just lots of great herbs out there that you can use together to create a healing space in your body. So let's talk about kind of how herbs work. So the way herbs work is they work with your own body composition, and they encourage the systems of your body to operate properly. So, for instance, ginger is a really great immune booster. So that would be something that you could take long term if you're dealing with autoimmune disease or chronic viruses or things like that. So that's kind of how herbs work. They work with your body. So sometimes it happens really fast and instantaneously, and sometimes it's a long term thing. But herbs are a long term remedy. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to take herbs for the rest of your life, because you can get a lot of these properties just from your food if you're eating the right foods. But in as we heal as a nation, because that's what we're going to have to do, we are going to have to heal from the chronic poisoning that we have been exposed to for many of us all of our lives. We are born into the American system, and we are immediately vaccinated the moment that we emerge from our mother's womb. We are given the hepatitis vaccine right away, and then we are sent on a trajectory of pharmaceuticals. We're fed Our children are fed high amounts of sugar and artificial food colorings. They're encouraged to eat it through television ads and other places. Reward systems through the schools reward the children with candy. And as a result, they wind up not being able to sit still in their seats. So what happens? Mom runs to the doctor and says, "Hey, my kid can't sit still. He's getting in trouble in school. Maybe I need him to take that new medicine you got out." And they're popping on some ADHD medication. Don't even look at the diet. Don't look at the diet. Don't talk about herbal remedies. Don't talk about any of that. Just put them on a pharmaceutical. So that is the American programming. And we have been programmed to believe that herbs can be dangerous, which is, now granted, you can overdo it on some herbs, but they are a lot less dangerous than pharmaceuticals. So let's just kind of start with how these particular herbs work in the antiviral blend. So when we get a virus, for instance, even not getting a virus, but if you have like a long-term virus like Epstein-Barr or long COVID or things like that, this antiviral blend can help with those too. For the last 3 years, I have been drinking this antiviral blend to help decrease the levels of Epstein-Barr in my system. Now, most of us have been exposed to or are carriers or have active Epstein-Barr. Epstein-Barr is so contagious that statistics say that 96% of all people have Epstein-Barr virus. That's how incredibly contagious it is. But some people end up developing an autoimmune disease. Now, in my opinion, the foods that we eat, our sedentary lifestyles we live here in the United States, contribute to the development of of the autoimmune diseases that are caused by Epstein-Barr. So the first thing that, of course, needs to happen if you're dealing with a chronic virus is you really need to take a look at your diet, because I'm going to be real clear about this. I want to sell tea and herbs to people that need it, but I want you to be in complete understanding about how this works. The herbs are of no use if the diet is not right. And that is the bottom line. And there's no circumventing that. You can't just continue to eat garbage and put herbs on top of them and expect them to work, because they're not going to. But if you are looking at trying to change your diet, I have a great book about that called For the Love of God. And in this book, I take you step by step on how to change your diet and how to change your lifestyle. There will be a link for this book in the comment section, so make sure you check that out. Okay, so as far as the herbs go, once you have your diet under control and you are working towards nourishing your body with food rather than killing your body with food, then bringing in the herbs can be very helpful. I will also say that certain herbs can override a bad diet by really just attacking what's going on. And I'm just going to give you an example of that. My son, who is 29 years old, he does try to eat pretty healthy for the most part, but he does consume junk food. He does drink some things that, probably aren't really great for him, that have some sugar and food colorings in them. And he does eat some things that are, convenient and fast, So, that is the reality for most of us. We do kind of tend to, give in to temptation quite frequently. But as far as this antiviral blend goes, just for an example, he was really sick with this, whatever was going around the last few weeks. He had some kind of virus, it's like a flu, or maybe a strain of a new version of COVID, or whatever's going on. He had that. And he called me and he said, "Hey, Mom, I need NyQuil. I'm so sick." And I said, "Well, I don't really have NyQuil because I don't take that stuff, but I do have a really great antiviral tea that will be a great substitute for NyQuil." So he drank that tea. He drank the antiviral tea, and the very next day, I called him, and he sounded completely different. Sounded totally well. He said he felt 100% better. So, I mean, even if your diet's not perfect, in some instances, the herbs will be very effective in the short term. So let's just kind of talk about what's in the antiviral blend. So the main component is elderberry. Elderberry is a powerful immune boosting herb. It's also chock full of antioxidants, which do help support the immune system, but also help support the endocrine system, which is really powerful when you're working to try to get through something. And it also just helps to kind of make you feel better, maybe give you kind of a little boost of energy. The echinacea is in there as well. Echinacea and rhodiola are actually mixed together, and they kind of both do the same thing. They're just a support system for the immune system, but they also help to dry up like all the phlegm and grossness that comes along with these viruses. We're hacking and, coughing this stuff up, it really helps to dry that stuff up. Ginger. We all know ginger. It's so comforting, right? Ginger is like one of the most comforting herbs, but it's very good for the immune system, and it's really good for the kidneys, which of course help to flush the virus out. Boneset, one of the most powerful antiviral herbs you can take. Not many people know about boneset, but boneset grows wild here in Florida. It is sometimes will be considered a weed, but it's medicine, and it's one of my very favorite herbs. Boneset will actually help to decrease the viral load in the body, so that's super powerful. So these herbs combined together is what the antiviral blend is made of. And that's why it's so effective, because it literally targets everything that's happening in your body as a result of a virus. So I'm going to put the link to my Etsy store in the comments. If you would like to take a look at it, maybe pick some up, you'll be able to do it through there. But if you want to know more about my blends, reach out to me, send me a DM. I'm glad to go over any questions you have. I have several different blends of teas, which you will, of course, see when you take a look at the Etsy store. Also, if you haven't read my book yet, take a look at it, For the Love of Gut. It is my book and I'm proud of it, but it's just common sense stuff about really like cleaning up your diet. For instance, there's a chapter in here on the food pyramid debacle. And this literally kind of shows you how this whole thing is upside down. But it also goes through step by step each property of the food pyramid and how to use them, how to eat, and what to avoid, and really how to put this practice of the upside down pyramid into your life. So if you're really looking for a lifestyle change, take a look at this book. I think you will find that you can definitely create a lifestyle change with the simple set of instructions that are in this book. Thanks so much for taking the time to listen today. I hope you learned a little bit more about herbs and maybe enough to kind of start venturing out and looking at those. But enjoy the herb, the tea, if you purchase that, and if you purchase the book, please let me know how you liked it and if you have any questions. Until next time, remember, don't forget to love on your gut.